Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Kansas Moonshot Podcast, where we are shining the spotlight on amazing things happening in schools across the state. Whether you're one of the Mercury, Gemini, or Apollo schools launching some amazing redesign plans, or a teacher trying to do something a little different, I want to share your story. The goal is to celebrate the awesomeness all around us. All right, welcome to the latest episode of the podcast. In this episode, I apologize already for not keeping up with the Sunday posts. I barely know what day it is. It's so hard to keep track when we're at home all the time. So this is the latest update. For this one, I just wanted to talk about our continuous learning plan in Olathe. I wanted to talk about what we're doing and how it's working, some things we're tweaking to it, just to give you guys some guidance if you're trying to figure out how you want to handle it in your district. I'm currently recording outside because it's so nice to get outside. So you may hear some birds chirping or some other random noises. That's what that is. Just wanted to make you aware. I also do not have my really good microphone set up right now. Again, it's just everything's running together. I think it's downstairs in the basement somewhere, and I just haven't taken the time to get it. I just wanted to get this podcast recorded. So here is what we're doing in Olathe with our continuous learning plan. First of all, we have had over 800 teachers in our district involved in creating this plan. The way it's divided up is each grade level has 3 to 4 teachers who are working on each content area. Which means, so in 6th grade language arts, there are 4 teachers who are all coming up with lessons for that content area. 5th grade, it has a group of teachers working on science lessons, a group of teachers working on math lessons. So math, science, English, social studies, language arts, those 4 core areas, every week have a lesson. So kids get 1 lesson for each subject area during the week. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but what we decided is it is so important right now to focus on the social emotional aspects of the student. Because we don't always realize how much this is impacting the kids emotionally. They're picking up on their parents being worried about losing a job. They're picking up on news broadcasts that are talking about death tolls. They're picking up on all of these negative things that are impacting them. Kids are having trouble sleeping because they're worried about these things. Even if they don't come out and say it explicitly, these things are on their mind. This isn't homeschooling. This is schooling in a time of crisis. And so you have to keep that in mind as you're developing your plan. So every week, kids have 4 lessons they have to do, one for each subject area. All of the elective teachers also got together and they developed a document that each week they update. So there are different, in elementary school, they're the specials. In middle school, it's all the different electives the kids could have signed up for. So all of those resources are available on a website. If you want to check it out, it's in the show notes, or you can go to olatheschools.org/continuous learning. And those are all the resources. We put everything into one website. We wanted it to be one streamlined stop. So on that website, you click on the grade level, and then there's a list of all the lessons for that week that the students can complete. There are also, every week there's a social emotional learning lesson. There's a digital citizenship lesson. On that same site, there's also a section for family resources. If families need connections for internet, if families need help with finding resources for food. So all of those things are available on that website as well. There's also an entire version of the website in Spanish. So we try to put everything in this one stop. We are also providing packets of the lessons that are being handed out at our food distribution sites. So for kids who don't have access to internet, they can go when they pick up their food every week, every day. We're giving away lunch and then breakfast the next day at 7 of our elementary schools. Parents pull up, they get a bag, they pull up to the next stop on Mondays and pick up their packet of lessons. Now you may be asking yourself, how does that get turned in? It doesn't. And that was the hardest part for us to wrestle with, is if they're not turning it in, are they going to do the work? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. But I like the way it was put online, the way it was worded is, if you are giving a grade right now for those assignments, if you are grading those, you aren't grading the assignment. There is a factor in there that is a huge equity issue, because you don't know what parent support they have at home. Both parents may be doctors and going off, or nurses, or some other essential person right now and having to go to work. They may work at any of the restaurants that are still open for curbside pickup. They may be working at any of those places that are still running. If that kid doesn't have a parent at home supporting them on that, they may not be able to get going. They may get stuck and not know how to get help. You also have kids who are in this time of crisis that are so emotionally spent right now that they're not ready to tackle that schoolwork. Now, it goes both ways. I get it. There are some kids who are not doing the work just because they're not being held accountable. And we haven't found a good balance for that as far as requiring, connecting with them. One thing we're doing as a school is each of us we're contacting our homeroom kids just to make sure they're okay, make sure they have all the resources they need. It's not a perfect system. I get it. But in the place we're at right now, we are so much more concerned with the social, emotional well-being of our kids. We know there's going to be some gaps we're going to have to make up next year. Everybody's dealing with that right now. But we're going to address those next year. Right now, we're just trying to put some stopgap measures in place so that we can kind of bridge that gap. Like I said, it's not perfect. But as a parent myself, this plan works the best for my kids, because there are also a lot of parents who are working from home. And that is so hard. Any of you who have tried it right now, it is so hard to do this work and try to manage my own kids going through their lessons. We've got a daily schedule for them set up, but it's hard to check in and say, hey, did you do your lesson? It's 11 o'clock. It's time to start your lesson today. So these are all the factors that you're trying to deal with and grapple with right now. It's tough. I get it. And so that's why we kept it very simple. Just the 4 lessons plus the electives page. One thing we're adding this week is we are adding a choice board for challenges. So for kids who do finish those assignments, we've got a choice board for them to pick and choose some other enrichment activities. That is also going to be housed on the website. The reason why we did that is we didn't want parents to be bombarded. If they've got a first grader, a third grader, and an 8th grader, we didn't want them to have 3 different systems they're having to figure out. Or even at the middle school level, if they've got 7 different teachers, and each one is assigning a different technology tool they're going to use, and they're assigning a different way to turn in assignments, and they've got a different cool tech tip that they want to share out, it gets overwhelming. I'm having a hard enough time keeping up with just Seesaw for my own kids, let alone if they had the wrinkle of a bunch of different technology tools they were using. So we kept it simple, and that's been hard because there are so many great resources that are free right now. But like I said, if we overload parents, if we overload families right now, some of them are going to shut down. Some of them are going to get so overwhelmed and frustrated and distraught, and it's just not worth it at this moment. Again, right now, we're dealing in crisis mode, so we're working on the foundational skills. But an added side benefit of doing all of this, we've discovered it. I don't know if that may have been the plan. It was a district decision to put the website together, and it may have been the plan all along. But what we're finding is, if a kid gets finished with their 6th grade work and wants a challenge, the 7th grade work is right on that website. How cool is that? So the differentiation is built in. If they're struggling with the 6th grade work, there's 5th grade lessons on that same website. And so I've been telling kids, if you get done, go check out some of the grade levels. Not only that, I've been telling them, you know that elective that you haven't had a chance to take, but you really were interested in? Go to that electives page and try some of those things out. Now's the time to try that out. It's a low-risk opportunity to explore and try something new. That's what I would challenge you to do. I would challenge you to find ways to have low-risk chances to explore and experience something new. We don't have all the answers. This is just what Olathe is doing right now. The choice board option was added. It's being added next week due to responses and feedback. That's one thing we're trying to do, is be very receptive when we get feedback on ways we can improve this system. But there is no right answer. The right answer would be none of this to be a problem and us not having to worry about a virus right now and us being in schools. That's the right answer, but it's not possible right now. And please stay home. Please, that is going to help more than anything. But teachers, we all want to be in school right now. We get that. I get that. So we got to do it with what we've got. And what we've got right now is we've got some scared kids. We've got some families that need support. We've got some families that need love right now. And that's what we're providing. We're providing some low-stakes learning opportunities. We're providing some enrichment opportunities for kids to explore. We're providing a lot of different resources. Please check out the website, see if there's anything on there that you want to pull for your own district. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. This isn't a perfect system, but I think it's a really good system. We've had a lot of positive feedback from parents for that very reason. They understand where we're coming from. They understand that it is what it is right now, and this is a really good system that we've set up with the circumstances we've got. We'll continue to tweak and change. Nothing's permanent. And then we know there's going to be a lot of changes we're going to have to make next fall to get ready, to catch kids up, to bring them back online. And we're going to address that later. One final point I want to make, I was just thinking about it. Our goal is to have this website that we created up all summer as well. So if parents are like, you know what, I'm really worried that my kid's going to be behind next fall, they can go back and do the next grade level ups lessons to kind of gear up for that upcoming year. So that's it. That's our continuous learning plan. I'm really excited about it. I'm just one piece of that. One thing that it's really taught me is the importance of a good, solid... Oh, man. Sorry. Back up. I need to share the structure of our lessons. Every single grade level has the exact same structure for every single lesson. We've got 4 slides for the lesson. The first one is a 5-minute video instruction. In the packet, it's a written out explanation of whatever we cover in the video. That is our explain slide. Now, my group, we are rocking and rolling with the hook. So we start with a hook for our video. Then we do an explanation of a topic. So this week we were talking about how colors can symbolize different things in texts and in movies and in TV shows. And so that's the explain slide. That's the explore slide. Then we have the explain slide. So after they learn a lesson, they have to go explain it to someone else. Explain what they just learned. So they explore with a video, they explain it to someone else, or they write it down in a journal, or they draw a picture of it. Then we have the apply slide, which is where they take what they learned at the very beginning in the video, and they apply it to something new. So for example, this week, we're talking about colors, and then we've got a grid with a whole bunch of different colors and what they tend to represent in texts. And then we ask them to pick out, well, what are some of these colors that would apply to you? So right now, are you feeling really green? Are you feeling really red? Are you feeling really orange? And looking at the description. Then the final step, and for language arts, is a create slide. And that's where they take everything they learned and they go and create something new with it. For language arts, it's been a lot of journal writing. It's been a lot of, this week we're encouraging them to write a poem in that create slide. So we've got an explore slide with a video. an explain slide where they explain what they learned to someone else. We've got an apply slide, and then we've got a create slide. This foundation is something I'm going to take into my class next fall because it's such a good structure. It makes sense. It's very clear, and it's a good reminder of quality lesson planning. It's a good model of how the brain works to get learning locked in. So I'm going to bring this into my own classroom. The other thing it's taught me is to be concise because they're really pushing us. 4 slides, that's it. And so what we're doing is we're cutting out a lot of the extra fluff stuff that wasn't necessary. So we still got a really good hook. That's important. But some of the extras that we weave into our lessons sometimes that we think are super important, I'm starting to realize some of that stuff's not that important. And so that's been a really great element to this as well. That structure, that lesson structure, is fantastic because it's really helped us hone in on what's really important with the lesson. It's also forced us to go back and make sure that we're sticking with the standard we said we were going to talk about. We've got a learning target we're going to focus on. And all of these things are things that most of you are probably doing. I wasn't doing as good a job at it as I should have been. And so it's really forced me to hone in on my craft. So that's what our lesson structure looks like. Again, like I said, it's nice because if I'm a parent, I am a parent of a first grader and a fifth grader, I know the first grade lesson and the fifth grade lesson structure is the exact same. I know that at some point, both kids are going to watch a video. At some point, both kids are going to come to me and explain something or draw a picture of what they learned. And then at some point, they're going to apply, and it's great. So on that note, I'm here for you if you need anything. My expertise is in video creation, screencasting, those sorts of tools. So if you need any advice, suggestions, support for that, please reach out to me. I would love to help answer any questions I can. We're in this together. That's one of the positives that have come out of this is how much people have come together to work together to problem solve. So I'm wishing you all the best. Hoping you guys a healthy next few weeks. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy a breath of fresh air every once in a while. Until next time, thank you for listening to this podcast. If you are a district and you are developing the continuous learning plan, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get other plans on this podcast so that people can hear some of the varieties going on across the state. Please reach out to me. That's all I got. Wishing you all the best. Until next time, book forward and be awesome. Bye, guys.
For more information about this episode, check out my website, MrStockRocks.com. If you know someone doing something awesome in their classroom, let me know about it. I'd love to have them on the show. You can email me at teachlikeaninja@gmail.com or follow me on Twitter at teachlikeaninja. I've been your host, Josh Stock, 6th grade language arts teacher and self-proclaimed awesomeness expert. Until next time, book it forward and be awesome.